This is a review of set 6071, Forestmen's Crossing, from the Castle line. It is part of the Forestmen sub-theme and was released in the year 1990. It originally retailed for $28.50 and according to the box is 203 pieces. Unfortunately, I don't have the box or instructions for this set, but that is totally okay. I am very lucky to have gotten this set for the price that I got it at. So we're just going to have to jump straight to building. So before we start building, I've got to highlight the cool printed base plate that comes with this. It's got a well printing here, as well as a small river printing. The only thing I don't like is that it does have these white dots, which show you where the pieces go for the main build, which unfortunately makes mocks pretty difficult because most of the time you'll have these white dots sticking out if you want to build on this base plate. But of course, I still love any printed and raised base plates, so I like this one a lot. Okay, now we can start building. Here's the completed set, and let's take a look at our minifigures. This set includes 5 Forestmen, or technically 4 Forestmen and 1 Forestwoman. And I've got to say, this set definitely has the best Forestmen figures from the original Forestmen line. Each one of them is unique in some way, and they all are very colorful. So our first guy here, of course, has a classic green tunic, except he's got some blue accenting on the collar and arms there. And then he's got a brown hat with a 3-plumed yellow feather. And this is our swordsman. He's the one that rides the horse. And it's the same horse mold that we've seen many times before. Our next Forestman is the red spearman, so he's got red accenting on him, and this time with a green hat and the large single yellow plume, and then his spear. Next up is our traditional green tunic with the money pouch Forestman, back to a brown Robin Hood hat, and then this time we have a red triple plumed feather, and this guy is an archer with a bow and arrow and a quiver. And then lastly, we've got our Forestman with black accenting, and I think this is probably my favorite Forestman just because the black and green actually kind of makes sense for hiding in a forest. And it just looks really cool there. I like the way that it's the same black as used on the belt, so he really just kind of looks more camouflaged, I would say. And then we're back to the green Robin Hood hat, and this time he has a small red feather. And so even though from a distance these guys look primarily green, as you can see when you get closer, no two are the same, and I really like that. We've got 2 different torso prints, although the 3 that are the same all use different colors. We've got 2 different hat colors, and then 2 different plume colors, and then even 3 different plume designs. So the way they mix and match them to kind of make each one unique looks really cool to me. And then lastly, of course, we have the very rare Forestwoman minifigure. This is the only set she comes in, and this was right when LEGO was starting to make female minifigures, and the lips on her are pretty funny just because of how large they are. And the corset also looks a little interesting as well. And they use this head print for most women in the 90s. As you can see here, we've got the pirate minifigure from the Black Seas Barracuda, and her torso print is very similar, except this time she's got the belt buckle across the chest. But she has the same face print there, and it's just in red for the torso. And then even more similar is the princess minifigure from the King's Mountain Fortress. It is the exact same torso printing, just in blue this time. And again, the same face printing. So even though this minifigure looks a little bit funny by today's standards, I really appreciate that they tried to make every single minifigure unique in this set, and that there are 5 of them. So here's their hideout, and I really like this build a lot as well. You've got the nice river going between the tree and the hideout build. They've even got a well over on this side. Here we have a treasure chest that just has 2 studs on the inside, and you can store that inside their hideout. This is a hinged door right here built into the stone wall, and that can just go right in there. Close that up. And then for easier access, you've actually even got a larger door on this back side, so that opens up like that. Nothing really going on the inside here or here, and then we've just got an outpost up top. But there is this nice balcony here with some parapets here and up top. Although it's a little bit risky on this side here, nothing to keep you from just stumbling off over there. They do have a lot of foliage grown out of every single side here, even on the hideout build, and then of course the tree. On the right side here, you can see that the tree has a ladder built into it. It is a little bit odd that the tree just has a 4 stud wide hole going straight through the center, and this ladder here doesn't come all the way to the bottom, but I guess they could grab onto that. But either way, the tree does look rather large because it is so wide from the side here. And of course, we've got this cool singular rope bridge piece that goes across the 2 outposts, so they can climb up the tree and then get across to their outpost here. Although I guess technically in this, there's no good way to get to this middle section here, which is a little bit funny. And I think the only other complaint I have about this build is that there's no bricks holding this bridge down. So over the years, these bridges like to bow inwards or get bent pretty easily. Of course, not too big of an issue. It still holds together quite well. And overall, this is just a really nice build on a 16 by 32 base plate. And of course, having it be printed is a plus as well. I forgot to mention we have the Forestmen's shield built into the wall here, same way we saw with the Forestmen's hideout. So, adjusted for inflation, the set would have retailed for $57.96, which honestly is quite a lot, I think. I mean, you do get 5 minifigures, all of which are unique, and a cool printed base plate, as well as some large pieces like the rope bridge. But unfortunately, this is one of the more expensive castle sets, and especially Forestmen sets in general. Current used prices have it at $226.86. And that's really unfortunate to me because this is definitely my favorite of the Forestmen sets. Just the build itself is very cute, the minifigures are fantastic, and the base plate is great as well. I remember when I got this just a couple months ago, I was really dreading having to pay, I think, $130 for it. I just felt like that was on the upper ends of what is reasonable for something of this size. I guess looking back, I'm glad I did get it for that price because it quickly spiked $100 after that. And this is one that I'm not quite sure why it is so expensive. As far as I can tell, it was released worldwide, so we don't have a situation like the Dark Forest sub-theme, where that was only released in North America. However, since this was towards the end of the Forestmen theme original run, it could just be because this was produced in such low quantities comparatively to the earlier sets. And I do think a large driving factor in this set is that Forestwoman, since this is the only set she came in, as well as the printed base plate. So I'm sure you won't be surprised when I say don't go spend $230 on this set. Honestly, don't even spend $130 on this set. This is kind of one of those sets that's just too expensive to really justify it. But it sure is a neat little piece of classic castle history. So before we wrap up the review here, I wanted to show you this mock that I had made, similar to what I did with the Hemlock Stronghold, where I just used the pieces from the set, and I wanted to see what it would look like if I could have 2 completely separate builds. So we have their outpost made of stone on this side, and then just a standalone tree on the right side, and then a close to the ground rope bridge going between instead of having it be between the tree and the outpost. So again, we've got our Forestman on horseback, nothing different there. He's just traveling through the forest, going over the bridge. The bridge itself just has a few bricks on either side so that it can connect and sit flat on the ground like that. Then looking at the tree here, I did my best to make it look like it was a fully circular filled out tree. I did pretty okay, I think. As you can see when you turn it around though, the back half is just hollow. But the top and sides do go out in every direction to kind of make it look like it's more full than it is. Then we've got their miniature stronghold here, which of course has a secret entrance, which just slides open like that to reveal a small doorway in. This portion right here I'm not too happy with. It's more just to secure this door in place so that it doesn't fall off, but I also just had quite a few extra large pieces that I didn't know where to put, so I kind of just threw them on the edge over here. But it does look a little bit disjointed. Then when we turn it to the back, we can see that the whole back section here is open so that you can get to the ground floor, and we've got their treasure chest in here as well. And I'm pretty proud that it's at least somewhat realistic that you would be able to get onto this ladder and get to these 2 floors. On the top here, we've just got a small little outpost where he can look over and shoot his arrows. And then not a whole lot going on in the middle section either, just a little outpost here as well so that he can shoot over on the right side. And then a tiny little covered section there where the forest woman is hanging out. And I just did my best to put a little foliage around so that it looks like it's kind of camouflaged at least. So unlike the Hemlock Stronghold, this one didn't really need it because I do like the main build so much. This is more just I wanted to see what I could make with the pieces. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. You can let me know in the comments what you think of it and if you want to see more of these in the future. So that is my review, and thank you for watching.